Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hut, and here we are back at the Baseball Hut too. And a lot of stuff, really very quiet, but some rumors are starting to percolate a little bit. A little over a week left before the trade deadline. I wasn't going to plan on doing a video tonight, but an interesting rumor came out a little while ago. Before we get into that, I need you to subscribe and like this video. So, as you know, the big name out there is Shohei Ohtani, the unbelievable, amazing, spectacular, terrific player for the Los Angeles Angels. He's a great pitcher, he's a great hitter. But we've heard all kinds of teams' names connected to him. New York Mets, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Diego Padres, the Chicago Cubs, the Texas Rangers. But we have two new teams that have made it known to the Angels that they would make a trade with the Angels if they were so interested in dealing Ohtani. Well, it's funny you should mention that. Those two teams, John Morosi posted a tweet mentioning those two teams. And that is the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Baltimore Orioles. Now, we all know, if you follow baseball on recently, you would know, and I've talked about this a lot, Arizona has a very good farm system. The Baltimore Orioles had the number one farm system in Major League Baseball. And Arizona's top 4. Now, what's interesting is that these two teams are uber competitive. Baltimore's in first place. Baltimore will be coming into New York this weekend, I believe. Or no, they'll be playing the Eagles will be in Baltimore this weekend. And Arizona is in second place right now. They were in first place most of the season up until the last few weeks. And now they're in second. The rumor about the Diamondbacks, they want to be very aggressive. They want to bring in, a big player. And then no bigger player than Ohtani. Now these teams are willing to pay the price for prospects. There are teams that we've talked about that will not do that. The New York Mets will not trade their prospects right now. That is obviously the foundation for any team. The foundation of the Baltimore Orioles, just specifically, because I really know quite a bit about the farm system. A lot of their players have been called up, but there are a lot of players that are in the minor leagues that are going through the minor leagues. Jackson Holliday, the son of Matt Holliday, being one of them, and a few others. And Baltimore and obviously Arizona are willing to pay that price. Are willing to pay the price to make that deal. Now, I was thinking about this. What would go on? What would happen there down in Baltimore if they were to acquire Ohtani before the deadline? This is a team that's been dead in the water. Up until last year, they were dead in the water for the last 4 or 5 years. They hadn't spent money. They had teams that lost over 100 games several years. They fired a very good manager, Buck Showalter, who'd been there a long time. And they have another manager there. But they are a team that is in first place. They're extremely talented. They probably had the best catcher in the American League. If not the best catcher in all baseball, and Adley Rutschman. It's funny, ever since he's been called up to the majors, they've been one of the best teams in baseball. He's really transformed that team. But can you imagine, if you will, Shohei Ohtani in Baltimore? After Baltimore's been so bad for so long, that town would go crazy. Any town would go crazy with him on any of their teams. They'd go crazy. We'd all go crazy here if he was with the Mets. But he would be in Baltimore. Baltimore's such a great baseball town. If you didn't know that. That's a great baseball town. Baltimore, Maryland. And that would be a wonderful place for him to play. And a great ballpark. Great fan base. A very good young team. that would give them the boost to they could get to the World Series. And I'm not joking. They could get to the World Series with him on that team. Because obviously he would be the centerpiece of their lineup. He would be their number one starter on that team. It would, obviously, the number one thing that it would do is they would really help their pitching. Because they're looking for pitching help. But then to put him in the middle of that lineup, my goodness. They would be the best team in baseball with that move. They would be the best team in the American League. They would be a team to be reckoned with. That would be a team that would be very difficult to beat in a short series. Knowing that he's going to pitch at least 2 or 3 times in a 7-game series. And he's going to play every day as a bat. Boy, oh boy, that would... The Yankees, the Rays, and the Blue Jays would have no chance to win that division. And obviously the Rangers would have a big problem trying to deal with them. Or the Astros would have a big problem dealing with them. With Ohtani in the middle of that lineup. And at the top of that rotation. Now, the Diamondbacks are a little different situation, obviously. I don't think I'm not sure what the Diamondbacks will do. I'm not sure what the Angels will do. Right now, the Angels aren't selling. But that, I mean, even there, that would transform that lineup. And they've gotten a lot of energy from that team. And they've just sort of waned a little bit. I don't know if that's the right move for Arizona. Just due to the fact that they've kind of taken a step back over the last few weeks. It would certainly give them a boost. Whether that would help them win the division, that's another story. But boy, I think if you're Baltimore, you go for it. You go get that guy. That would transform your whole entire franchise right away. And maybe they sign him. That's a possibility. They've not spent any money on anybody over the last few years. So that would be an interesting acquisition for the Orioles. Wow. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. And, of course, please, I'll subscribe. And I'll keep going through these rumors as much as I can as we get closer. Hopefully we'll get some deals coming along. That would be unbelievable. With Baltimore. My goodness. Gracious me.